Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Crypto Hipsters Curtain Calls. This is your host, Jamil Hassan, the Crypto Hipster, and this is the 42nd episode of Crypto Hipsters Curtain Calls. These are clips and compilations from season 6, 7, and 8, my podcast from those seasons. And this episode, number 42, is entitled Home by the Sea? Why Decentralized Finance is Primed to outperform traditional finance even during the most turbulent tides. This episode is a compilation of 4 podcasts, three from season 8 and 1 from season 7. The first person I spoke with from season 8 was in August 31st, 2024. And he is the CVO and co-founder of Kyrrex. His name is Mike Romanenko. We talked about how to develop a single ecosystem for finance, payments, and trading digital assets. My second conversation was from season 7. In July 2024, I spoke with the co-founder of Tranchess, Danny Chong. Danny and I talked about why learning chess can help you rebalance your crypto portfolio and earn greater returns. And in many ways, finance is like a game of chess. So tune into that one. All my podcasts, by the way, are available on Spotify, Apple, Anchor, Google, YouTube, anywhere you listen to your favorite podcast. You can check these out. You can check out this compilation, or if you are interested in learning more, any of these speakers, these guests from my podcast, all my podcasts are available in their entirety, anywhere you listen to your favorite podcast. Third is Kurapika. Kurapika is the founder and CEO of Factor. And we spoke in October 2024. We talked about how to simplify sophisticated DeFi strategies for the Web3 world. And last but not least, amazing conversation with Alex Botte. She is a partner at Hack VC. We talked in March 2025 about exploring a Web3 OG venture capital firm's views of the current crypto market and decentralized financial landscape. That's a mouthful. It was an amazing conversation. And she even provided a presentation that you should check out. If you don't want to check out anything else, make sure you check out that presentation. It's very good. We talk about AI. We talk about DeFi, lots of things. Amazing conversation all around. And so this is the 42nd episode of the Crypto Hipsters Curtain Calls. I'm going all the way to 67. So we're well on our way. Again, this episode is entitled Home by the Sea? Why Decentralized Finance is Primed to Outperform Traditional Finance even during the most turbulent tides. Well, thank you for tuning in. Enjoy the show. Enjoy this episode. And I'll see you next time. And thank you very much. You know, I remember back in 2018, Malta was a place to go. You know, it was a statement place while like India was a hotbed. It was just interesting to see that there's so few companies succeeded.
It's true. And the reason, the biggest reason, it's because still there is places and let's say there is space for the companies to not be properly regulated and to work in the market. And the point is, it's like, let's say to compare as a regulated and not regulated casino, okay? It's same front end, same functionality, everything the same. But the difference is that regulated casinos, they have very strict rules on all the things that they can do, okay? And all the let's say percentages, differences, and all the things, they are very strict. In unregulated, you can do whatever you want. You can put win rate, not like in regulated one, you can put win rate 5% and you don't care, okay? And nobody check. And this is a big difference. The same story here, that the front end, all the markets and everything, everything is the same. And client will not understand the difference But the difference is on the other door, especially which is when we touch the part which is not spot trading, but which is derivatives trading. This is extremely crazy numbers you can understand when you know the, let's say, black box which they have, because it's truly black box. Even sometimes, let's say, I will not name the companies, but when we ask, especially the formulas, how they calculate the margin level for the leverage positions, or for example, options or futures, stuff like that, they don't disclose it. So you don't know even how they calculate the margin level. And the point is that in this case, they can do whatever you want, because the derivatives, if Bitcoin, you have 21 million and you cannot have more or less, okay? So you have 21 million, and spot market is very clear. Even in spot markets, you can do something if you are not regulated, okay? Especially if you speak about some squeeze and market making inside your own order book and stuff like that. But in futures trading, it's crazy, because you can issue billions of Bitcoins in the futures trading market, okay? And nobody will check it. So, and this is a biggest problem, that there is still space in the world of unregulated, of possibility to be unregulated and or work on the market. And that's why when you come to the point when you need to be regulated in some place, you start to understand, okay, if I will be regulated, I will cut off, I don't know, half of my revenue or even more, because I have some type of activities which is not, let's say, legal under this regulation. And you will start to think, okay, do I want to be regulated, or let me try to keep my business in the way which I have right now, and to earn more until I will not have any kind of other option than to be regulated. So maybe this is another motivation, and this is the reason why a lot of companies, they were starting this process, because they want to have access to the fiat to crypto gateway, okay, very easy and cheap. But finally, they understand, okay, if we do that, we will cut off most of our revenues, and we'll have a lot of problems maybe with the legislation because of our processes of compliance or stuff like that. I don't know. So I will not say that all different companies, they have different reasons of that. But most of them, if they start and they did not finish the process, it means that something in the rules are not, let's say, in line with their business strategy.
When will we see the total value lock be reflected in the market cap? And why is access to DeFi growing, essential to the broader audience? Like why, like how are we going to see it in conversions of market and TVL and see the broader audience come on board?
Well, I guess there are different concepts. If we look at asset management fund has 100 million, and it has maybe it makes about 5% from that per annum. That makes it 5 million. TVL is just showing like how much it has. It does not really show that how much it's making in terms of revenue and profit. So for your market cap to actually move way higher, that means to say that this bottom line of how much you're making has to be much bigger, and for people to be interested and be able to buy and support, let's say, your equity or something, to reflect a high market cap. So maybe that's one way that I will want to look at it, right? TVL is just your asset under management. Although technically it's very different thing, because I have to say that in smart contracts, in the world of DeFi, we don't really have access to the fund, not like a fund manager. It's based on the protocol just have smart contracts set up for users to be able to put in the money and do the transaction that they want. Most of the time, I would advise people to look at protocols as a series of smart contracts set up to facilitate a user. It's a bit different from how you want to look at asset management firm, where the asset manager has a direct ability to touch on your money and put into investments as they deem fit, discretionary basis. So I hope that explains in terms of like the market cap and in terms of TVL. I think clearly they are different numbers that you want to look at it more as a comparison to what I've mentioned in a real world example. I do think that the market cap will continue to grow higher when across protocols, across in different kind of a setup that we see, having more use case and definitely a sustainable revenue generating model. I think that would definitely be something that will push kind of like the market cap to a much higher level. I just want to say that most people see a correlation of high TVL versus you know, kind of like a high market cap. I maybe to look at it as a user, right? Why does a high TVL benefit you if you're a holder of a certain token of a certain protocol? It will only benefit you if the TVL that's big has transaction fees, and that transaction fees is going into the protocol, which redistributes it back to holders of the token of the native token. That means to say that if the TVL grows much larger, the absolute number generated from revenue will be higher, and then it will be redistributed back to holders of that token. Then yes, there will be more users, there will be more push and buying of that token because it makes sense. It's just like why you'll buy into a certain company, maybe because the dividend instead of like 5%, it becomes 10%, 20%. Okay, it's doing well. Then it makes it easier for people to want to own the equity, right? So again, you know, like I'm not supposed to use equity to describe that, but it's different thing. It's not a security, but a token has some characteristics you know, like similar that you can compare it with a real world kind of like a financial setup.
I love the concept of a brighter future. Yeah, but in order to get there, you know, we need to solve some challenges. So like, what are the challenges with DeFi today, and how can no code DeFi solutions help bridge the existing Web 2 to Web 3 gap?
That's a great question. So first of all, let me refer to the no code element. So, well, no code means you don't need to be a developer in order to interact with it. If we go back to the more fundamental or early stages of DeFi, and it's true to crypto as well, it all looked almost like Windows 95. It was very geeky, and you only could access it if you really is either a developer or basically dedicated your entire life in front of a computer and to understand each and every evolvement of the internet and technology as it is. I think many of the issues that were true to Web 2 and sometimes are true to Web 3 is that technological gap. Not as if we're not all financial experts, we're also not all developers. And a developer could now take those different smart contracts from different DeFi protocols and connect them to one another, right? Which again, it's not true to Web 2. And I think this is the evolvement in Web 3. But in Web 3 or in DeFi, you'd still have to be this very experienced developer in order to come in and connect the different primitives in order to create your new DeFi protocol, a yield optimizer, or just an automated strategy. And this is exactly what Factor came in to simplify, because many of those financial experts are not necessarily developers. And we really don't want financial experts to become developers, right? Because as we know, there is enough security issues in DeFi for unexperienced devs, or let's say people that would not necessarily dedicate all their time for all the security audits and the other requirements that are needed in order to assure the smart contracts are operating correctly. It's just something that is not necessarily viable. So Factor came in to solve exactly that. We built this very simple and easy to access UI where you just come in and connect those money Legos. Again, it used to be a cliche in crypto, but I believe we really nailed it here in Factor, where it's really just about you coming in and dragging, dropping the different steps of your strategies. There are also different pre-made templates that you could get it going. Again, as the expert who has the knowledge of how to do it, we provide you the shortcuts of doing so. So you don't need those really hard laboring development processes. You don't need the audits anymore. You just come in, you bring in your DeFi knowledge, you build your strategy, you automate, and you deploy all in several minutes.
Awesome. So I want to switch gears from away from AI a little bit and talk about DeFi, right? Actually, this morning, the million podcast listed my podcast as number 15 in the world on DeFi. I'm like, thank you. I didn't know I was even being considered. I'm like, this is cool.
We got to talk about DeFi then, right?
I got to talk about DeFi. What are the most exciting promises and developments this year in DeFi, and what are you looking forward to in that space?
Okay, my answer is probably gonna be pretty boring. So, but the biggest news behind the U.S. election in Q4 was Stripe acquiring Bridge. So Bridge is this B2B platform that enables merchants and fintechs to accept stablecoins for payments via API. And Stripe is like a Web2, payments SaaS provider that bought Bridge for over $1 billion. And so it's like just a great sign that the PayPals of the world, the Venmos of the world, and now Stripe are looking at crypto to be used for real world, payments using stablecoins. So yeah, I mean, if you look at the Bitcoin white paper, the original, the 2008, Satoshi calls Bitcoin a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. And I think their vision, whoever Satoshi was that Bitcoin was going to be used for payments. I mean, wasn't one of the first transaction buying, pizza with Bitcoin? Yeah, it's hard to imagine like Bitcoin being used for payments just because it's a really volatile asset. It's the infrastructure of Bitcoin, it's like, I mean, it's great, but it takes a while for it to settle, right? It's expensive. And but now, like, things are different in terms of infrastructure. We have scalable L1s that are fast and cheap for transfers. We have $230 billion of stable coins on chain, so you can pay people without taking on huge volatility. We have other real world assets that are coming on chain. And so, yeah, my answer that we're excited about is like stablecoin infrastructure, which is kind of boring, but I think stablecoins are going from stores of value on chain where like crypto traders go into risk off, right? Like they'll sell out of their crypto. They don't want to leave the blockchain itself, so they kind of go into stablecoins. Then, now in DeFi, stablecoins are being used on exchanges. Like if you look at the most liquid pairs, stablecoins are usually both of the assets in the pair or at least one of them. And increasingly, stablecoins are used for cross-border transactions. But when stablecoins are going to be used for, paying for things in the real world with merchants, like that's going to be a major, major, major unlock. And so that's, I think, what we're most excited about, and all the different infrastructure that's going to make that possible. Don't know when that'll be, but it's going to be major when it does happen.
At a mass scale level.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So I can get some people to pay me some tether to be on my show. So I'm like that doesn't count. So
yeah. No, like when non-crypto people are using it, like non-crypto native people are using stable coins via like some app on their phone. Like it's not like a MetaMask or something. It's more similar like an Apple Wallet, yeah.
That makes sense. Well, you said stable coins are boring, and then a little while ago, you said two magic words. You said Terra Luna. That definitely wasn't boring.
No.
So what are the, I'm not going to get into the dangers of what stablecoins could possibly do, but I do want to know what your prediction is for 2025 and 2026 regarding stablecoins, and also any other areas that you think are decent, good, solid predictions that will probably come true.
Yeah, on the stablecoin side, I mean, the two largest stablecoins are still not algorithmic and not decentralized. It's USDT and USDC. Um, I mean, there's been some new innovations like Athena, for example, on the decentralized stablecoin side. I think there's always going to be like new entrants that are going to try to do some like decentralized stablecoin, and that's great. Like I think we need competition there, so that's all good. But stablecoins ultimately are driven by network effects. So like USDT is far in a way like, has the best network effects right now. In terms of other predictions, I think just like institutional DeFi, we've talked a lot about the favorable regulatory landscape we're in right now, new leadership at the SEC. I think there's a potential for interest rates to ease this year, and that's going to be good for crypto and high risk, high duration assets. So that'll drive, more DeFi flows, more institutional interest, and hopefully this like convergence of CeFi and DeFi. Like that Stripe bridge acquisition.